My name is Evelyn Hart. I'm 38 years old. And last Christmas, I found out my family had been erasing me for 15 years. Not forgetting me. Not misunderstanding me. Erasing me. For 15 years, I sent my parents money. Every single month. No excuses. No delays. No missed payments. By the time I finally did the math, the number felt unreal. $360,000. That's how much silence costs when you're raised to believe love must be earned. I didn't discover the truth through a confession. I didn't find emails. I didn't catch a bank statement left on the counter. I overheard it. And the moment I did, everything I thought I knew about my family collapsed. It was Christmas Eve. The house smelled like cinnamon and roasted turkey. Laughter bounced off the walls, familiar and warm in that fake, holiday way that hides decades of resentment. I had arrived early to help, like I always did. I was standing in the hallway, coat still on, when my mother's voice floated out of the laundry room. Sharp. Casual. Confident. Evelyn? She's never sent us a dime. I froze. My aunt laughed softly. What? But she works in finance, doesn't she? My mother scoffed. All show. She's always been selfish. We fed her for 18 years. She owes us. My heart started pounding so hard I thought they'd hear it. Then she said the sentence that changed everything. Thank God we have Lucas. He's the one who actually takes care of us. Lucas. My younger brother. The golden child. The one they paid full college tuition for. The one who hadn't held a job in 3 years. The one taking credit for my money. I didn't scream. I didn't confront her. I didn't burst into tears. I quietly stepped outside, pulled out my phone, and made a decision that would destroy their lives forever. But before I tell you what I did next, you need to understand why this betrayal cut so deep. This didn't start when I was an adult. It started when I was a child. I was 10 years old when I asked my father for $12 to buy books for a school project on the solar system. He didn't even look up from his newspaper. Use the library. That same week, Lucas got a brand new gaming console. No questions. No hesitation. At 16, I won a partial academic scholarship. The award ceremony was on a Saturday afternoon. I ironed my only nice dress. Practiced my speech in the mirror. My parents didn't come. Lucas has a game, my mom told me over the phone. You understand, right? I did. At 18, I overheard my father laughing at Thanksgiving. Why waste money on a girl's education? She'll just get married. Someone else's responsibility. Everyone laughed. I sat quietly at the corner of the table, invisible. I was 18 when I got accepted into state university. Tuition, $12,000 a year. I sat at the kitchen table, acceptance letter shaking in my hands. I got a partial scholarship, I said carefully. I just need a little help. My father cut me off. We can only afford one child. My mother nodded. Lucas needs it more. He's the boy. That was it. No discussion. No guilt. No apology. So I did what girls like me are taught to do. I figured it out. Student loans. 3 part-time jobs. Night shifts. Exhaustion so deep it felt permanent. While Lucas graduated debt-free. I was 23 when I got my first real paycheck. Junior analyst. Chicago. $60,000 a year, and drowning in student debt. I should have celebrated. Instead, I opened my banking app and sent my parents $500. My mother called that night. Only $500? Lucas is struggling. He has credit card bills. The next month I sent $1,000. Then $2,000 after my promotion. I waited for a thank you that never came. But I kept sending the money. Because good daughters help their parents. Because love means sacrifice. Because if I just gave enough, maybe one day I'd finally matter. 15 years. $2,000 a month. No holidays skipped. No emergencies excused. Not when I was sick. Not when I was stressed. Not when my husband and I delayed our dreams. $360,000. And according to my family? I was selfish. Ungrateful. Absent. A month before Christmas, I arrived late to Thanksgiving dinner. The house was packed. 30 relatives. Noise everywhere. I slipped in quietly. That's when I heard my aunt say, "Lucas, you're such a good son. Supporting your parents every month." Lucas smiled. Family comes first. My mother sighed dramatically. Evelyn's always too busy. Never helps. People shook their heads sympathetically. I stood there, grocery bags digging into my hands, realizing the truth. They hadn't just taken my money. They had taken my reputation. That night, I didn't sleep. At 3 a.m., my husband found me at the kitchen table, writing numbers over and over. "Do you know how much that is?" I whispered. "Do you know what we could have had?" He sat quietly. Then said the sentence I needed to hear. "You don't need to yell. You need proof." That's when I knew. I wasn't going to explode. I was going to expose them. I didn't confront my parents that night. I didn't accuse them. I didn't demand explanations. I waited. Because when someone has spent 15 years rewriting your story, the truth needs to be louder than anger. And I knew exactly how to make it impossible for them to lie ever again. It was 11:47 p.m. on Christmas Eve. The house behind me glowed with lights and fake warmth. Laughter spilled through the walls, a family celebrating together, unaware that everything they believed was about to collapse. I stood on the back porch, phone in hand, my breath fogging the winter air. One name stared back at me on the screen. Linda Park, CPA. She'd been my accountant for over a decade. Quiet. Precise. Ruthlessly organized. I pressed call. "Evelyn," she answered, surprised. "It's Christmas Eve. Is everything okay?" "No," I said calmly. "But it's about to be." I explained everything. The money. The lies. The credit my brother had taken. She was silent for a long moment. "That's a lot of money," she finally said. "Do you realize how much?" "I've done the math," I replied. "And I need every record. Every transfer. Certified. Notarized." Another pause. "I can have it ready before New Year's," she said. "But Evelyn, this will blow things up." I looked back through the glass door at my mother laughing, playing the victim she'd perfected. That's the point. 2 days later, I made another call. This one was harder. "Reed and Associates," the receptionist said. "How can I help you?" "Thomas Reed, please." "This is Evelyn Hart." A moment later, his calm voice came on the line. "Evelyn, happy holidays." "I need to update my will," I said. "And my life insurance beneficiaries." Paper rustled. "Your husband is primary. Your parents are secondary," he said. "You want to remove them," I said. "Completely." He stopped. "That's a serious change." So was lying about me for 15 years. I replaced them with an education charity for low-income students. The irony wasn't accidental. The days between Christmas and New Year's felt unreal. My parents didn't call. Lucas didn't text. They were comfortable, still telling the story where I was the selfish daughter and he was the devoted son. I let them enjoy it. Because the truth was printing. December 30th. 7:42 p.m. Subject line, Certified Transfer Records, Confidential. 47 pages. Each one a knife. Dates. Amounts. Bank confirmations. Month after month. Year after year. At the bottom of the final page. Total transferred, $360,000. Certified and notarized. My husband stood behind me as the printer hummed. "That's a house," he said quietly. I slid the stack into my leather briefcase. "No," I replied. "That's my life." 30 relatives. Champagne. Music. Laughter. My parents' living room was packed. My mother spotted the briefcase immediately. "What's that?" she asked, suspicious. "Work," I said lightly. Across the room, my father raised his glass. "This year hasn't been easy," he announced. "But we're lucky. We have a son who takes care of us." He clapped Lucas on the shoulder. Applause rippled through the room. Then my aunt asked the question they never expected. "What about Evelyn? She's doing so well." My mother sighed theatrically. "She's very busy. Never really helps." The room turned toward me. 30 faces. 30 judgments. I stood. I placed the briefcase on the coffee table. Unlocked it. Pulled out the papers. "What are you doing?" my father snapped. I didn't answer. I laid the first page down. My aunt leaned forward. "Is that a bank statement?" "Yes," I said. "All of them?" Gasps. Pages were passed hand to hand. "This says $2,000, someone whispered. "Every month?" "For 15 years, I confirmed." Silence. My uncle flipped to the last page. $360,000? My mother's face drained of color. "That's not possible," she whispered. "It's certified," my aunt said sharply. "And notarized." All eyes turned to Lucas. "Do you have records?" someone asked him. He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. My father tried to speak. "This is a family matter." "No," my aunt cut him off. "You made it public when you lied." My mother started crying. "Why would you embarrass us like this?" I looked at her. "You embarrassed me for 15 years. Then I said the words that finally ended it. I'm done paying." Her sob turned into a gasp. "And you're no longer in my will." Dead silence. I closed the briefcase. I just wanted the truth heard. I walked out. I thought the hardest part would be walking out of that house. I was wrong. The hardest part was everything that came after, when the truth had nowhere left to hide. The silence. For 10 days after New Year's Eve, my phone stayed quiet. No calls from my parents. No apologies. No explanations. Not even anger. And that silence told me more than words ever could. They weren't grieving me. They were regrouping. People who live by lies don't collapse when exposed, they strategize. The first text came from my aunt. "I called your mother today." She cried, blamed stress, and avoided every question. "I'm sorry, Evelyn. We believed them." Then another. "I owe you an apology. I spoke badly about you for years without asking you once." One by one, relatives reached out. Not to defend my parents. but to admit something uncomfortable. They had judged me based on a story that was never true. And my parents had let them. 2 weeks later, my brother texted. Was that really necessary? Mom and Dad are devastated. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. You watched them erase me for 15 years. Don't talk to me about necessity. He never answered. On January 27th, my phone rang. My father. His voice was smaller than I remembered. We're struggling, he said. Without the money. There it was. Not we're sorry. Not we lied. Not we hurt you. Just the bill. I'm not resuming payments, I said calmly. Your mother is selling furniture, he snapped. The dining set from your grandmother. I closed my eyes. That's her choice. How can you be so cold, he demanded. I almost laughed. I funded your life while you told people I was selfish, I said. This isn't cruelty. It's consequences. He hung up on me. And for the first time in my life, I was okay with that. A week later, my aunt called again. There was anger in her voice this time. Do you know how much debt Lucas is in? I didn't. Over 40,000, she said. Credit cards. Loans. Then she dropped the truth. Your parents convinced Carol to lend him 20,000 for an investment. There was no investment. My chest tightened. My money hadn't just supported my parents. It had funded a lie big enough to swallow the whole family. In February, I received an email from a woman I'd never met. Subject: You don't know me, but I know your story. She was my father's sister. Aunt Patricia. A woman I was never told existed. She wrote. I left the family 30 years ago. They treated me the way they treated you. The disposable daughter. I read her words with shaking hands. She ended the email with this. The pattern ends when someone refuses to carry it forward. I think that someone is you. For the first time, I realized. This wasn't personal. It was generational. In March, my mother finally wrote. She said she missed me. She said they made mistakes. She said blood is blood. What she never said was I'm sorry. So I wrote back. I told her the truth requires accountability. That love doesn't survive on guilt. That I wasn't waiting anymore. She never replied. A year after that night, I sat on the porch of our new home. 3 bedrooms. A backyard. Space for the future. We bought it with the money I no longer sent away every month. My husband handed me tea and smiled. You look lighter, he said. I am, I replied. I don't hate my parents. I grieved them. The versions of them I kept hoping would show up. But here's what I learned. Love is not a debt. Sacrifice does not guarantee respect. And boundaries are not abandonment. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop paying for a lie and start investing in yourself. If you've ever been the invisible one, the giver who never gets credit, the child who's only loved when useful, you're not alone. And you're not wrong for choosing peace. Because freedom doesn't come cheap. But it's worth every single dollar you stop giving away.